This is where dreams are born. Million miles away, but it still feels like home in the land of
Alright, now that I look like I'm something from Greece, and my 1980s headband here, they work amazing. It's not too bad of a job. The worst thing about it is all of the intake tubing. There's a lot of hose clamps. 8mm is going to be your best friend. H6, I believe. H6. Yep, H6 Allen head for the turbo inlets. They're not the inlets, but they bolt onto the face of the turbo for the intake. And then now what we have to do is going to be the fun stuff. All the heat shields. I'm not taking the downpipes off, so I'm going to try and not take the heat shields off because the heat shield bolts obviously snap like 90% of the time. So we're going to try and avoid that. But next is going to be the coolant tube. I think, I'm not entirely sure, but there's a hard line that goes from here all the way over here. I'm going to try and take it off this way. I don't know how much I can bend this, but I'm going to take this off, take this bolt off that holds it to the head, and then take this off here. That'll get that line out, and then we just got to do all these little vacuum ports. Take lots of pictures. I took a lot, and I'm already paranoid that I'm going to miss a lot. And then once we get the front turbo off, we'll get the back turbo, put the back turbo on, put the front turbo on, rinse and repeat. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's just a little bit here and there. Like, I still have to take that bolt off to get this off and access the top of that turbo, and then access these. So it's not terrible. Move all your vacuum lines out. And then I think I have the Z1 dress-up kit for my valve covers, but the block looks like it's soaked, and it was never leaking before, so I think I'm going to put the OEM ones back on, because those things keep coming loose with Loctite on them. So I would not buy those. That is just my opinion, though. Let's continue it. Little baby turbo. Alright, so we got the heat shield, well, that major cooler line off. Except for that one, and then the heat shield off of the exhaust manifold, and then there's the 4 turbo bolts, but we have to disconnect we have to come underneath the car and disconnect the downpipes. So we're going to do that now. After you got the downpipes disconnected down there, which I've done, it's 2 14mm nuts, technically 4. You're going to take these little flat pieces on this nut and then fold them down, and then disconnect it. And I'm going to try and drop the turbo out right here. We'll see if we can. If not, we have to go in there and take the manifolds off. So let's keep going. Once you get under here, it is a process and a hell and a half. You have to take that off, which is that goes to the bottom of your turbo, and then you have to take these 2 banjo bolts. It's a 17 and 19mm, and then you have to bend your oil line out of the way. Then you have to take your coolant line off in the block right there, and then on the top you got 4 bolts, and then after that it kind of comes out, but it is a lot to get to, and that's the back one. Now, we have to figure out which dump pipe is which, and we have, I think, JPIs? I'm not entirely sure, but thanks, Shannon. You're awesome. And let's get these on. Alright, I don't know YouTube's policy if you are shirtless or not, because it's nice out, and I'm pasty as heck, as you can see, so it's going to be a complete head. We got one turbo on. Easiest way to do it is in these following steps. You're going to disconnect your downpipe. Once you disconnect your downpipe, you're going to have access to the back of the turbo, which looks like that. And there's 5 bolts around here that you have to disconnect, or do it the easy way and disconnect these 4 bolts here, which connects to the bottom of that, and then disconnect the nuts on the studs, lift that off of the front turbo, and then you can get everything from there. Literally everything. I just dropped that in 5 seconds, and it took me hours to get it out from underneath. So disconnect your downpipes. Obviously you have to disconnect all this intake stuff, and then disconnect this right here, and disconnect the 4 bolts here, and the turbo will drop down. And I think on the front ones you have to disconnect those back ones. I haven't tried that yet. On mine I had to disconnect the dump pipes, which is what they're called, and then the dump pipe connects to the down pipe, which connects to your mid pipe, which connects to your catback. So it's kind of complicated, but it's not too bad if you know what you're doing. At the beginning, I did not know what I was doing, and it was a headache. Now, 2-3 hours, I bet you I could get it done. So yeah, that's one turbo. We have to bolt it down, and I'm going to connect all the oil and coolant lines, which also have to disconnect. Those right there, and then you also have to put the banjo bolts back on, or disconnect the banjo lines. These are for the front. The ones for the rear are somewhere back there. I gotta find them. And yeah, let's continue. Last part. Now we're getting all the turbo inlet stuff on, which would be all this goodies. There is a diagram from Nissan, and also the part number for the gasket kit would be 14401-05U25, 05U being the RB26 engine block series for just the OEM block. The N1s are obviously a different number. So yeah. But as you can see, we just got this one on. Put that on before you put anything on in there, because that is a gigantic pain, just because of that Allen head right there and because of the dump pipes. So we learned that the hard way. Now this, as you can see, and I'm blinding my face, this goes here like so, and then there's one more that goes right there, and we just have to start hooking the coolant pipes back up, and we'll be done. We are like 90% there, I would say confidently. We have to get the downpipe on yet, but that'll take no time at all. And yeah, we're making progress. It is lengthy, it's tedious, but it's not terrible. First time will be the worst time, but it's not terrible as you would think. But it makes you want to go single turbo, and I will be going single turbo now, as much as I want to keep the twins. So yeah, but let's keep going.